Hey folks, welcome back to another HP Gaming GameLINK video. Got a few gripes that I want to talk about today. So I've got my microphone, I've got my new camera. I'm going to have a bit of a chat about some of the things that you shouldn't do when you're at the gaming table. Hey folks, welcome back. For those of you who are watching the channel for the first time, my name is Matt. Thank you very much for your attention this afternoon or this evening, depending on when you are watching this video. As I said in the tease, I've got a few gripes, a few things that I've been noticing more and more as we are able to get back out into the big wide world and actually play gaming face to face as opposed to over the interwebs. So I thought maybe it's time to have a bit of a look at gaming etiquette and some of the absolute no-nos that you will come across at the gaming table. So without further ado, let's jump right in and let's get to number 5 on the list. Okay, so you're at someone's house who is a mad gamer, you're there to socialize and have a good time, and there's probably drinks flowing, there's probably beer, all that sort of stuff, maybe even some brown drinks, some spirits and things, which is fantastic, especially if you're playing the Kickstarter Distilled, which is hopefully not too far away. So you're sitting down at the table and they've got this gorgeous playmat set up. Everything else is fantastic. You're set up for a wonderful time. Lots of table presents. It's going to look amazing. So you get your drink, which has got ice cubes in it and things and condensation, all the rest of it, and you place it directly on to the playmat. That's a big no-no. Placing it on the playmat means condensation is going to drop off your glass and you're going to leave drink rings. That's what a drink coaster is for. I mean, for real, are you crazy? Do you have any idea how much these playmats can potentially cost? Please make sure you put your drink on a coaster well away from the table, because if you get excited, if you're playing poker and you knock the drink flying, it's going to get absolutely everywhere, and that is just something that no one wants to have to deal with. Now, the person who owns the playmat will probably, say, oh, look, it's an accident, it's fine, it's fine, it's fine, but they may never invite you around ever again, so please make sure you keep your drinks off of the playmats. All right, number 4 on my top 5 no-nos around the gaming table is table talk. Now, this is one that probably might be a bit polarizing for some people. I find that table talk, when you are sorting out sort of almost, for lack of a better term, metagaming the people around the table, that's a big no-no as well. I find that people who sit around the table and say, oh, it defeats the purpose of the game, particularly if there's a bit of social deduction element as well. It could also be counterproductive or counterintuitive. Games like Arkham Horror, when I'm teaching Arkham Horror, it's really hard for people to learn, when they're learning, to not just call out the cards they've got in their hand and the effects that they do, which you're not supposed to do. You're not meant to have knowledge of what everyone else has in their hands around the table. So table talk for me, definitely a no-no. I'm not a big fan of it. Trash talk around the table, that you can go for. By all means, a bit of smack talk is very, very welcome at our house, so much so that my 8-year-old and my 3-year-old, come to think of it, are quite rife with their trash talk. But that's for another time. But table talk and therefore giving away clues, other bits and pieces of hidden knowledge that you shouldn't be doing, that's a bit of a no-no as well, and it just ruins and dampens what should be quite a wonderful gaming experience, depending on the game you're playing, of course. All right, number 3 for me is one that is not as common, and some people probably would find this, okay, well, look, accidents happen. I'm talking about butterfingers, but I don't mean actually having butter on your fingers. I mean losing chits and bits because you're playing with them on the edge of the table and you've been told to sort of, keep everything together, but instead you grab them and they drop onto the floor, and then you've got a whole play while someone scrambles around and tries to avoid staring at people's skirts or rubbing toes or anything else while they're trying to collect all their chits, bits, cubes, or whatever else may be, or cards, or whatever it is. Butterfingers at the table is something that can cause massive delays in a game that is meant to be flowing like crazy, and when people are just starting to get into the zone and you've got to pause play while someone rummages around on the floor, it can be a bit of a downer, so be careful of your butterfingers as well, folks. Oh, a big one now. Okay, so my number 2, a no-no when you're at the gaming table. This is very important, especially if you're using someone else's games or playing with someone else's games, particularly if they're as passionate as I am, and most people will agree with me here. If you're passionate, you'll understand what I'm going to talk about. The card benders. Oh my gosh. This is one of my pet peeves. If you're sitting around the table and you reach for the deck of cards and you bend the corner up before you draw the card, or you're at the table and you're tapping your cards together and you're flicking them and bending them and they're not sleeved. I mean, my fault for not sleeving them, that's on me. But if you're bending those cards and they start to bend to the point where they're not bending back into their normal, beautiful positioning, oh my God, we're going to have a problem. I won't tell you. I'm polite. I will just glare at you from a distance. But card benders, big no-no at the table. What are you thinking? My God, that's why I love Radlands. If you've watched our Radlands review or unboxing, you'll see the cards bend like crazy and then snap back into that glorious first position. Card benders, oh, I love you. I thank you for playing games with me, but at the same time, oh gosh, don't bend the cards. Please, for the love of God. Don't bend the cards. Please don't bend the cards. All right, my number 1 of my top 5 no-nos at the gaming table. Now, this is a big one. And I think most gamers around the world, let alone the interwebs, would agree with me on this one. It's a big deal. It's things like it's just messy for a start. At the same time, it just gets everywhere. What am I talking about? I'm talking about cheesy snacks, your twisties, your Doritos, your corn puffs, all that crap. Get it away from the gaming table. I want nothing to do with your cheesy goodness. I don't care how amazing the cheesy snacks may be. They have no place at a gaming table. Why is that? Because the fingers that you put into the bowl to get at the cheesy snack get moisture on them and then retain some of that cheesy goodness. And that cheesy goodness, therefore, goes onto every single component that you touch of the game. If you haven't sleeved cards, and you should have, and you get cheesy goodness on them, it actually eats into the material of the card or the paper or cardboard to the point where that card is now permanently marked by cheesy oil juice. And that is not a fun time, especially when you're trying to not know what that card is, that you see you're rifling through the deck and then a card comes up on the top of the deck and it's got that cheesy mark on it and you're like, damn, I know what that card is. It helps you in your game, but it actually destroys the joy of healthy competition, because you know what that card is. Apart from anything else, dice get sticky, cards get messy, wooden meeples and tokens get cheesy beards on them, and as amazing as that might sound, trust me, it's not a fun time. Cheese and snacks and all that crap that get around the table, it's just not fun. You can keep your twisties. I'll have some later. Get them away. In fact, chips, potato chips as well. The salty oiliness of potato chips is the same vein here. Cheesy snacks at the table is just not a good idea. Keep the snacks away. Go put them on the coffee table. We'll have them later. We're busy. This is serious business. Get them away from my minis. I don't want no twisties on my Nemesis minis. So please get them out of here. We don't want them. So there you have it. There are my top 5 no-nos for tabletop gaming. Most of you would probably agree with those, I would imagine. Is there any other no-nos that you know of that I haven't listed here? Things that really upset you at the table? When you're hosting, is there something that happens where you just go, oh, it really grinds my goat? Yes, I did say goat because grind my gears is the correct term. And if I say grind my goat or grinds my goat, it's going to mess with everyone's heads. And that's the way I like it. Let me know in the comments below if you have any other things that you get really ticked off about when you're board gaming, and maybe we'll compile a bit of a list for all the noobs that are coming in to play all these crazy new games. Until then, folks, I've been Matt. You have been awesome. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please give us a like and subscribe so you can stay in touch whenever we post anything new. Much love to our Patreon subscribers as well. We appreciate all of their support. We'll see you back at the table for some more gaming and unboxings and crazy Dungeons and Dragons content coming soon in the not too distant future. But until now, it is bye for now.